Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Andrew Meadows.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Well, don't sound too deflated over there, sir. Surely you're feeling great after we recorded Game of Thrones season 4 last night. Good 3-hour extravaganza. Surely you didn't drink too much while we recorded. I mean,
3 hours of Tito's.
You would not do such a thing, would you?
3 hours of Tito's really did me in. It's worth mentioning we recorded about 10 minutes of this episode last night, and I had to tap out. I had to get the hell out of the computer, start pacing, and maybe take a visit to the bathroom. You should really join our Patreon to get our input up front, because you can see what kind of unadulterated party we had recording the recording that episode. I got a little tipsy.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. It ran pretty long. I think perhaps there's a correlation between us drinking and us recording on things that we like and episode length. There's some statistics I think to be gleaned from that. But no, it was great. Of course, the most recent entry into our continuing series on Game of Thrones, the series, and the build-up to the final season airing very soon. Starts later this month, in fact, and it will conclude, I think, in May sometime, so it's creeping up on us, and, well, it's exciting and terrifying all at the same time. We still got 3 seasons to catch up on, but we're going to get there. We're going to get through it all. Don't worry about it. So on the note of Game of Thrones, as I just mentioned, as Andrew just mentioned, I mean, you don't want to miss that episode. Season 4 of Game of Thrones, great season. I don't want to totally spoil it for you, but we had plenty of things to say about it, and if you want to hear those things that we said about it right now, as of recording this, and likely as of the initial release of this episode, the only way to listen to that is to support us on Patreon. If you want to listen to that right now, head to our website, watchreviewrepeat.com, click the premium tab in the top left, and then click the Become a Patron button. So $2 a month is the way that you get in on our Patreon. That's all we ask of you, and that gets you access to all bonus episodes on that timed exclusive basis, in addition to early access to all of our regular episodes. So check it out, I would say. And if you haven't had a chance to do so, check out the Game of Thrones seasons 1 and 2 episodes up on the regular feed. Season 3 will be up there shortly, probably a few days after the release of this one, if I had to guess. But it's up on the Patreon now. It's another one you can catch up on immediately if you want. So, it's enough Game of Thrones, because we're talking about something else besides Game of Thrones this week. We're talking about old Dumbo, little baby elephant Dumbo. That's who we're talking about this week, aren't we?
The old Dumbo. Yep.
Little baby elephant, little Jumbo Jr., whatever his fucking name is. It's Dumbo. It's Dumbo. It's fine. So yeah, I mean, it's another entry into the Disney live action adaptation category. You know, they've put out a handful of those over the past few years, and well, it's here. It's the first of 3, I think, for the year. I guess, if you technically include The Lion King as a quote-unquote live-action adaptation, I suppose it is somewhat cheating to say it is, but it's basically the same thing. So, does Disney have a winner on their hands with Dumbo? Listen on to find out. We won't say it at the top, but we can confirm that there is a baby elephant in it. So, if you like baby elephants that can fly, well, maybe check out our coverage in a little while. We're going to talk about some news. Actually, we're not going to talk about news because Andrew has a brilliant fun fact for everyone. I almost blazed right through that because I'd already heard it once, of course, when we had our false start of a recording. But yes, do tell. What's your fun fact this week?
Got a hot take for you. This might come as a surprise, but Dumbo is based off this Dumbo is actually based off of a cartoon Dumbo that Disney put out. It's based off an old cartoon.
Yeah, it's almost like the live-action adaptation part of what I just said implies that it was adapted from something, isn't that?
That's right.
That's pretty wild.
That's right, and it's not a book.
Although, is there a book actually?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know.
My fun fact did not get that fun.
It didn't put that much effort into the research.
Right? I can tell you though that when it came out in 1941, it won an Academy Award for Best Scoring of a Musical Picture. It was nominated for Best Song for the song Baby Mine. And in 1947, it won Best Animation Design from the Cannes Film Festival.
It sounds like you've been holding out on me. I thought you were just going to blow me away with it was a cartoon or whatever. Fuck off, But no, you're busting out some real facts on me. All right,
and it does look like in the. I actually had the Wikipedia page on your recommendation. Yeah, you could put it up the Wikipedia page. Maybe actually do a real fun fact. So I actually had the Wikipedia page open, and it looks like books were developed in response to Dumbo, but they were all from like the early to late 90s and then 01. So I mean they were they were based off the cartoon, it looks like.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I think this is somewhat jumping ahead. I don't think it's going to come up again in the course of our conversation on Dumbo itself, but it seems like maybe based on you saying that and that there was this book series that was made after the animated film, I think the movie, the new movie, might take some inspiration from those books. So it's kind of interesting, okay. Animated film to books to movie, and obviously the movie, the live action movie, takes some inspiration from the original cartoon as well, of course. But anyway, we'll talk about Dumbo later. I'm sure we'll have many things to say about Dumbo, but we have news. We do have news this time. I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you. Let's start in the land of Marvel Studios. We've got a big thing in Marvel Studios. Maybe we'll save that for later. Maybe save some potential best for last. I don't want to make any bold claims, but I don't think it's that bold to say. Casting news. We've got a couple interesting bits of casting in terms of future Marvel projects. So first of which is Black Widow. I think we've reported a couple times that, Scarlett Johansson's getting her own standalone Black Widow film at long last. It only took them 20 plus movies to have the inspiration to actually make this film. But it's coming together. Director Kate Shortland, I think she was announced as director several months back. Script penned by Jacques Schaefer, and I think it's set to start shooting within a month or two, very soon. Wow. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's coming together very quickly. With the expectation, I think that it'd be a 2020 movie. So I think we can see a pretty quick turnaround, and I can't imagine it being like, I could see it being more of a lower budget, for Marvel anyway. Less effects driven type thing. Certainly less of a spectacle piece compared to say Avengers, and that like. But the news that we have to talk about this time is Florence Pugh is an actress that is joining the cast, reportedly to play one of the leads in this. I guess the lead opposite of ScarJo, it seems like is kind of the way that they're framing her character in this. She beat out some other contenders, including the likes of one Emma Watson, which, pretty cool. Hermione Granger was almost in the Marvel Universe. That would have been interesting. She could still pop up in the future. It's not impossible. Florence Pugh, for anyone not familiar, I haven't seen her in a ton of things. I've seen the name. It seems like she's been in a lot of projects recently. She was the lead in Fighting with My Family, the WWE Paige movie, which apparently was pretty good. Didn't see it, but apparently pretty good. She was the lead in an AMC series called The Little Drummer Girl, which I know got rave reviews. And she's going to be the lead in Midsummer, which we talked about a couple episodes back. The next project from the Hereditary director, Ari Aster. So seems like she's making waves. She's joining Black Widow, and the thought is that she's going to play a character by the name of Yelena Belova, who's kind of the new Black Widow, basically
the proper assassin, right?
Well, and Natasha Romanoff kind of defected from being a Soviet spy to be an Avenger or whatever, and I think Yelena Belova is kind of like the younger, more N version of her, and maybe still loyal to Mother Russia and all that good stuff. So it's I think a classic case of hero fights villain that is just the same as the hero but evil kind of thing.
Right.
But it could work. There's no reason it couldn't work. I mean, it's worked before. Obviously, they do it often enough that surely it has to work. I guess by default. But
especially if it's done up like an espionage movie, that kind of
right.
Be pretty cool.
And I think that a spy versus spy kind of thing. I mean, we see it with Mission Impossible and such. It's like Yeah, that sounds. I think if anything, it's probably more appropriate here. Like Black Widow, I don't think is a character that you want to throw up against aliens and shit. I mean, she's obviously done it before. She's pistoling the fuck out of them or whatever. But I feel like for her own movie, I think keeping it grounded, keeping like an espionage basis for all of it, I think that's going to be the smartest way to handle that character. So, so all this sounds good to me. You on board for the Black Widows?
Absolutely.
Plural, because maybe they're both Black Widows. See what I did there?
Anyway. Yeah, very nice.
Anyway, you want to hear some other casting news?
Let's hear it.
Rumored casting news. I mean, it's coming from reputable trade over at Deadline, but it's only in talks. So nothing. I guess nothing's been signed. No contracts have been signed just yet. Angelina Jolie reportedly also joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In a role in another upcoming film for Marvel Studios, The Eternals, of course, would be a new IP for the cinematic universe based off of some pre-existing comic book characters that have been around the block a few times. But Angelina Jolie, pretty big get, seems like. I mean, I feel like she hasn't done a whole lot super recently. I think she's spent some more time behind the camera, if I'm not mistaken. I know she's directed a thing or two, I think, within the past at least decade. But I think there's a lot of name recognition there. I think that seems like a pretty big get. It would be a pretty big get, I think, for the Marvel Universe. So what do you think? Are you a fan of the Angelina Jolie?
I'm not. I can't think of a movie that Angelina Jolie's that I'm really a big fan of. I don't think
Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
Yeah, no, it's not me.
Wanted. That's what has Angie been in?
Was she in Wanted?
She was in Wanted. She was the female lead with McAvoy. That's right. That was her. She was in that. Oh, she was in Beowulf, the CG. She was. She was the CG Beowulf.
I remember that. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're building up a resume here. So far, Wanted's the best one.
Yeah, I feel like Angie's heyday was probably before like our time of like watching movies in general. Like I think probably like 80s, 90s was kind of when
she was in that movie with Billy Bob Thornton, wasn't she?
Probably.
Let's see.
Probably something she was in. She was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a classic of course. Can't forget about that. Oh, apparently she's done some voices in the Kung Fu Panda movies, but it looks like recently she's kind of, like I said, I think she's been behind the camera more often. I don't think I saw that. Oh, she was in Salt. Salt fucking sucked. That movie really fucking sucked. Man, that was bad. What a garbage movie. Good Lord. I think my point probably is I think she probably had a stronger resume early on, and so it's kind of stuff that falls by the wayside when we think about her overall. But I think I don't. You're probably not the right person to ask about this. Is she still married to Brad Pitt? I honestly don't know.
I think they got a divorce.
Well, I was going to say you could bring Brad Pitt in. I'd be okay with that, but maybe that's.
I do
not
like Brad
happen.
Pitt. I think Brad Pitt's pretty great.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, The Eternals. For those that don't know, The Eternals are.
Yeah. By the way, her and Brad Pitt got a divorce in 2016. Get with.
I'm fucking out of the loop, man. I used to be so in the know with fucking celebrity ongoings. Then I was like, you know what? I actually don't care.
I get a subscription from. I get a subscription from people every week.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you got to keep in the know. So you'll have to let me know what the latest goings on are. The Eternals. The Eternals are an offshoot of the evolutionary process that created sentient life on Earth. So they're aliens, but kind of humanoid aliens that have been around for thousands and thousands of years, created by the great Jack Kirby. I don't know. It's interesting to see Marvel getting cosmic. I think I like that approach. People are speculating that Angelina Jolie would play the character of Cersei. Not to be confused with Cersei Lannister, spelled differently, spelled with an S. I don't know a whole lot about her, but cool. I don't know. I think that's something that's kind of exciting for me as just a general musing is I don't know that much about the Eternals, honestly. It's maybe one of the few blind spots for me in terms of Marvel lore. So like Marvel Studios could play super fast and loose with all of these characters and their adaptations, and I probably would not be any the wiser. And as long as they do a good job and make a good movie and, put some cool shit on screen. Like, it's really cool.
Whatever.
And this is supposed to be the other 2020 film. So I think 2020 for Marvel, coming off the heels of Captain Marvel and Avengers and Spider-Man, this year, Phase 4 is going to, I guess Phase 4 technically will start with Spider-Man, but then you'll have like Black Widow and the Eternals, presumably. So it's pretty eclectic way to start, Phase 4, kind of this next chapter of Marvel post Endgame. Yeah. So it's interesting. I like it. I'm on board with this, all of it, because it's Marvel and we like our paychecks.
That's it.
What do you got?
I have more Marvel news.
All right. What have you?
Today, they released a 1 minute special. 1 minute, a little bit of 1 minute footage.
Special look is what they're calling it.
Special look, okay, yeah, and it's there's a lot of new footage there for sure.
Of Avengers Endgame, we should also specify.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, and they you get the first. Is it the first look of Thanos? I believe it's the first look of Thanos in any of the trailers. I think it's the
first good look we've seen at Thanos in any of the trailers. I think we see the kind of destroyed gauntlet or damaged gauntlet, at least in the teaser. He definitely was not in the last trailer we got. But yeah, we get full-on Thanos, we get full-on dialogue in it. I will say, as a side note, anyone that hasn't seen this yet, it's not very long, but it's easily the most new footage we've gotten and the most, I don't want to say spoilerific footage, but because I don't think there's anything like wholly surprising about it.
We just know
it's like certain characters appearing on screen together. It's not that surprising to see it, but at the same time, you're so close to the finish line. Like, Avengers comes out in only a few long weeks really, and so it's kind of like I could definitely see a desire to hold out and not watch this. But I think you and I have no such desire, have no such self-restraint, and so my ass fired this up as soon as I saw it. I'm like, yes, fuck yes! It's really cool. There's a lot of great stuff in here. I think the new stuff that we did see, maybe it would have been really cool to see that on the IMAX screen, day one. But fuck yeah, this is all awesome. The fucking new Iron Man armor looks sick. Just
Does Thanos have a sword buried in the ground next to him?
Yeah, he's sporting a sword. We've seen that in some of the toys. Thanos is rocking full armored look, and it's got this fucking double-edged sword and shit. I don't know, it's badass. It's all badass. I'm really, really excited to see what plays out. I will say, we were just talking about this before we started recording. Do you still have that pulled up about the tickets on the tickets went on sale? I think that's kind of why they put this up. Tickets went on sale, advanced tickets, and things are happening in terms of the ticket sales records and stuff like that.
Says this is coming from comingsoon.net. So don't know how reputable it is, but I'm sure they're just pulling information from somewhere. Yeah. They're pulling it from Fandango managing editor. But Avengers Endgame sales have exceeded all expectation and surpassed Star Wars The Force Awakens, the previous record holder, to become Fandango's top-selling title in its first 24 hours of sale, and it accomplished that feat in only 6 hours. Let's see,
I believe it.
Give some figures here.
Well, I'll let you take a look. In the interim, I will regale you with the story of me acquiring my Avengers Endgame tickets because it was a shit show. Oh man, it was a shit show. So they went on sale at 8 this morning. Henry texted me probably about 8:10, something like that. I woke up about 8:15 and I was like, all right, I'll go fucking go A-list my tickets and shit. And of course, AMC, they need to hire some tech guys because their shit got fucking slammed within minutes. AMC, their app, I think, is still down as of recording this at 7 o'clock at night from 8 o'clock this morning. Their website, I think, has been up for a couple hours, but basically AMC's servers were just broken for like 6 hours. So it took a span of time for me from 8 a.m. to, let's say, 8:15 a.m. to 2:15 before I could actually secure tickets through AMC. And I couldn't even do it through AMC itself. I had to do it through Fandango, looping AMC kind of in the interim. Fandango actually set up a virtual queue. So like if you want to go buy your tickets at a certain time point, like earlier in the day with Fandango, it would be like your spot in line has been reserved. You have to wait 1 hour and 30 minutes or some shit like that. I think I ended up waiting an hour. The first time I went through the queue, everything was still fucked, so it couldn't even check out. So it timed me out after 20 minutes and I had to reset the queue. It was bad. It was bad. It was so bad, especially with AMC being busted, that I got desperate and bought tickets for an 11 p.m. IMAX. Not my usual IMAX one, actually closer a little bit, kind of the dingier theater. And I was like, 11 p.m., 3-hour movie. By the way, confirmed 3-hour, 2-minute runtime on this one. I was just like, ooh, that's going to be a long fucking night. But it was just like, I want to have something set up. So we ended up buying the 11 p.m.s, and then everything kind of worked itself out. We ended up being able to secure the 6:30 Thursday night opening night. IMAX 3D, kind of the one we wanted to. Pretty decent seats, not amazing, but far enough back and only slightly off center. So I think we're happy. It all ended up working itself out. I think we ended up losing a few dollars to convenience fees and stuff like that. But we got what we wanted, and we got tickets for Saturday as well. So we're having a real fucking Avengers Endgame kind of weekend up here in Philadelphia in a few weeks' time. So I would say, Andrew, my moral of the story is if you have any interest in seeing it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, honestly, I would take a look sooner rather than later.
I'll probably get them Sunday morning. Is probably what I'll end up doing.
You should be all right, but I would still probably plan on at least. Honestly, it'd be worthwhile to just book it in advance and then just change it later if your plans change. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. I'll do that.
So,
very soon.
Yeah,
I'll do that after we get it done here.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
It says that. According to this article from IndieWire, it says, considering that the film's epic cliffhanger, most box office pundits are expecting Endgame to open close to or above $300 million in the U.S.
I could see it. I think
some experts say the film could soar above $800 million worldwide over its first 3 days of release.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's got a really big worldwide release. I know China's included in that. I think it's releasing in pretty much every major market within a few days of each other. So
have mercy.
It's primed for this massive, massive thing. It's going to be fucking wild. Let's put it that way. It's going to be wild. But anyway,
that's my news there.
We'll have plenty to talk about. Come, I guess a few weeks from now, when it does come out. Like I said, it's very soon. So that's exciting. Very exciting.
And more Disney news. We got a leaked Star Wars poster.
That's right. We did get a leaked Star Wars poster. So this is, I think, just to kind of explain this up the top. Some people probably have already seen this and kind of looked at it and be like, oh, okay, it's kind of a wonky poster. I think this is a merchandising poster. I think is probably what this is. Something like you'd see
on the side of like toy box or something.
I would say, like a toy box type thing, or, kind of the one sheets that like Walmart sells, you know what I'm talking about? The poster tube type things. This is what this looks like. I mean, it's just a generic Star Wars logo, no title treatment, because we still don't know the title. It's not like that leaked. But what it does give us is a good look at all of the returning characters wearing some new garb, and also some new characters that... I don't know. I don't think we know who they are. We don't know what they're up to, but we have an idea of kind of what they look like now. So
you also have these badass red stormtroopers.
That's right. And I think that people were doubting the veracity of this for a little while because it, was kind of a lower resolution. It was just like, someone could have faked this. This lines up with stuff that's come out before. I think this is 100% real poster. Like I said, it's not going to be a one sheet. I think that's going to be put in theaters or anything like that. Right. But it's definitely real. Everything lines up with everything that has kind of, I don't want to say leaked because this doesn't like reveal that much in terms of plot details, but it definitely confirms things about characters, stuff that we have not seen before, or at least not anything that's been publicly discussed before, because publicly we have very little information in the way of episode 9 aside from the cast that is going to be in it. So
is C-3PO holding the bowcaster?
C-3PO's, he's got a bowcaster, and it looks like he's got a bandolier belt, Chewbacca style as well. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but C-3PO's getting some upgrades, it would seem. But
we also got the Knights of Ren back there, looks like.
It appears to be the Knights of Ren, that's right. Looks like they're finally making their cinematic debut. Very cool. I'm excited about that.
And it looks like Daft Punk's making an appearance.
Over in the right in the purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might think definitely a feminine figure. I think that's probably Carrie Russell's character if I had to guess. I don't know why she's wearing that, who she is, anything like that. That I don't know, but I would guess that based on the appearance. But we see, Kylo's got the mask back, and we see it's kind of stitched together. It looks like from the front. Yeah. Rey's wearing all white. She's got a new outfit. She's back to the 3-bun look, or at least 1 bun, presumably 3 buns. We can only see one, but there's a new character up in the top right that I'm not familiar with. There's also an alien, a goofy ass looking alien over by Finn.
Why would you put him on the poster?
So I hope he gets some major play in the movie.
He's making a completely ridiculous
great.
face too. I mean, it's what? What do you think?
That's pretty funny. I think it's cool. Like I said, if this was like dumped as like the teaser poster, I'd kind of be like, oh, that's not a great.
It's not the best poster.
It's not the best poster in terms of composition or anything like that. But as kind of like a leaked marketing material type thing, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, Star Wars Episode 9. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. Like, I mean, it looks fucking Star Wars, and you got fucking Kylo. You got fucking Poe Dameron on there, looking very Nathan Drake. You got Finn with some hair grown out, and it's fucking cool. Rey looks like she still has a blue saber, so that's an interesting thing. So I don't know. I'm on the note of Star Wars, just as somewhat as a side note, I think Celebration is in like 2 weeks, something like that.
We're getting
within 2 weeks. So I think we can expect a full Episode 9 blowout very soon. Definitely a teaser. I would imagine a title release alongside that, if not prior to that. Probably a poster. So that's fucking cool. I'm excited. I'm really excited for Star Wars. And I imagine you are too.
Mucho excito. Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I have some news that I can talk about. Which one should I talk about? I'm going to talk about Ghostbusters. I'm going to talk about Ghostbusters. No, you're not. You don't seem to be on the nostalgia train for the Ghostbusters for some reason.
Really.
It hurts my feelings a little bit. I don't know if you're adamantly opposed to the Ghostbusters. It just seems like you don't have any sort of affinity for it, which is fine. But there is a new Ghostbusters movie coming out. It's supposed to be, I think, a sequel to the original Ghostbusters films. And we have some casting news on that front. Because I got lots of casting news. That's the name of the game for me this episode. So we've got 3 names joining the cast. First one apparently is playing the lead, McKenna Grace. She's a 12-year-old actress. She actually played Baby Carol in Captain Marvel. There was 3 actresses that played Carol. Obviously Brie Larson being the usual Captain Marvel, but she was the older one, I think, at the go-kart track and stuff like that. I know she's done some other stuff. I think she did a movie with Captain America, I think, where she was really smart or something like that. I didn't see it. Gifted, I think is what it was. I think she was the main character in that. So clearly, she's doing pretty well for herself at such a young age. That's pretty impressive. Apparently the thing with this is it's supposed to be it's supposed to center around a family. So she's kind of, I think, the daughter of the family, and her brother is going to be played by Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things. He's Mike. He's the main character on Stranger Things. Also in It Chapter 1. And then her mother is going to be played by Carrie Coon, who was in The Leftovers, in a pretty big role on that. And she was also Proxima Midnight in Avengers Infinity War, kind of buried under mocap and CG and stuff like that. But it's interesting. Ghostbusters 3 obviously, stirred up a little bit of controversy because they're effectively erasing the Ghostbusters female reboot out of existence, it would seem. But I don't know. I really like Ghostbusters. So
did you really like that one that they released that they're erasing out of existence?
I honestly didn't think it was that bad. It just wasn't good. And I mean, I think all of the reaction to it was incredibly overblown. I also think that Leslie Jones being very offended by this movie's existence also very overblown. But I can understand it as given the amount of shit that the fucking internet and the shitty people all over put that cast through because fucking, oh my God, women in Ghostbusters, I mean, I don't really blame her too much, but at the same time, it honestly just wasn't that funny. And the first half I think is actually legitimately pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty solid, I guess. And then the second half is just trash. And so it just kind of loses its luster very, very quickly. But Chris Hemsworth was delightful in it, I will say that. I mean, most of the cast was, I would say, delightful in it, just let down by unfunny jokes and just boring CG crap at the end. So Anyway,
Wah, wah, wah.
Ghostbusters 3 or whatever this is going to be called. It's happening. Directed by Jason Reitman, son of the director of the first film, Ivan Reitman. So little family connection there. Very cool. Yeah, that's Ghostbusters. I won't bore you more with Ghostbusters. I know how you feel. I understand. I don't, but I do.
Well, I have some casting news for you. You didn't get all the casting news.
Oh, all right. Well, what do you have?
Mark Hamill's going to be the voice of Chucky in the new Child's Play remake starring my girl Aubrey Plaza.
That's right. Yeah. Also, Brian Tyree Henry. Pretty good cast. I like that.
Whatever.
I like that.
It's got Aubrey Plaza. That's all I need.
That's all
Aubrey
you need.
Plaza.
Well, now it's got Mark Hamill. Yeah,
so
I mean,
it gets better.
yeah. I guess taking over the iconic role of Chucky from Brad Dourif from however many of those fucking things they did. They're still making them. I think. Like they're doing this remake or reboot or whatever the hell it's supposed to be, but I think they've been making direct to video type stuff for like years now, which I guess that's kind of the norm, I guess, for a lot of horror franchises. But people seem to think that those are like actually pretty decent. Like I think there was like a curve where they sucked, like they were just unwatchable shit, and then they've been kind of decent, I guess, recently. Yeah, there was one that came out in 2017 called Cult of Chucky, and I'm like, I have never heard of this.
What?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but
I think the last one I saw was Seeded Chucky with Jennifer Tilly.
yeah, and that was what, 15 years ago, something like that.
Is that a long time ago?
I think so. Yeah.
I know it was old.
Yeah.
I know it was really bad.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I feel about Chucky in general, or I guess Child's Play or Chucky or whatever. I guess I don't know if they were called anything about Child's Play past the first one, but I think it's a franchise that could be interesting with kind of this reimagining. I mean, I think Mark Hamill is obviously great casting, fantastic voice actor. So that's cool. I like that. But I know there was a teaser or something that came out a little while back, and it seemed like they were kind of pushing it more into a modern lens with like a technological aspect almost to Chucky. It's kind of the impression I got. We didn't get. I mean, it was very teasery. You didn't get a whole lot out of it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not expecting it to be good because horror is such a weird thing, and you know, this is, I guess, sort of horror. I guess, you know what I mean. Like, I guess it's probably more. I don't know. Was the original Child's Play? I mean, that was considered horror, I think, back in the day. Surely,
I'm sure. So, yeah.
I think it got schlockier, I think, the longer the franchise went, but I think there was always I think there was an element of that to the first one, just because of the, you know, it's a fucking talking doll serial killer type thing. Like, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go with this.
Here we go, the fourth installment. So after Child's Play 3, this is where it starts calling him Chucky.
Okay.
Bride of Chucky was released, and in Latin America, it was called Chucky's Girlfriend.
I mean, I guess they don't like to get married down there, apparently.
and there's a picture of the poster on Wikipedia. And the tagline is, "You got Bride of Chucky," and then Chucky gets lucky at the top.
Well, you can't top that, can you?
Yeah, well, you know, it's followed by Chucky, Seed of Chucky, and then Curse of Chucky. I've seen all of them except this one. I haven't seen Curse of Chucky or the one that came after it, which is the Cult of Chucky.
I don't know that I've seen any of them besides. I've seen probably the first one. I don't know if I've seen 2 or 3, and I think I've seen parts of Bride of Chucky on TV, certainly, and maybe one other in like bits and pieces of it, but I don't have any sort of reverence for this franchise. So like I said, I think I'm okay with them doing a reboot. It doesn't offend my sensibilities. I think it could be interesting if they, you know, put a new twist on it. I think that could be fun. And, you know, Mark Hamill and Aubrey Plaza and Brian Tyree Henry. I think that's, like I said, I don't expect it to be good, but I'm keen on it, you know, interested enough to poke my head in the door, I'd imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I have one last bit of news for you. Something I think you're going to find pretty devastating, given that it concerns your favorite network of all time, the CW.
Yeah. What do you got from them? And
one of your favorite shows of all time, Arrow. It's very interesting. So we talked about how Arrow was soon to end. They were going to do one last final season, a shortened season of 10 episodes for season 8. But apparently, the main character is not going to be a part of season 8, which I find very interesting. Emily Bett Rickards, Felicity, has decided that she will not be part of the show past season 7. So I honestly don't know what Arrow is going to be like without Felicity. I don't understand who it's going to be about, given that it won't have a main character anymore. I honestly don't know. Like, I guess they'll have to put it around that Stephen Amell guy. I think the guy that shoots the arrows sometimes. He mostly just beats people up with a bow, I think. He's been severely marginalized in these past few seasons, so I'm not really sure how they're going to put him into a lead role. I don't really see that working. I don't think there's any way that could happen.
Maybe they'll just strong recaster.
And they're going to be missing the emotional core of this, the hacker genius that Felicity is. I don't think there's any way that this show can survive. And maybe this was probably the impetus for the shortened season. They're like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do? Right.
So it's really devastating. I myself am very broken up about it. That they're losing such this crucial part of the show.
Right. That's
really
power.
Really just devastating. And I will say, actually, as on a somewhat more serious note, oh my God, Tumblr and company are not having it. Oh man, they are losing their minds over it. They're harassing the whole cast about it, and oh man, they're losing their fucking minds. The Elicitors, none too pleased. But you know what I say? I say, fuck them.
Fuck them.
And that's what I say. One more piece of news. We have one more piece of news, and it is yours. So I will let you set it up for us.
I will set it up for you, and that is the Dead Don't Die official trailer.
Yeah, I think we're finishing on a good note with this one.
I think so. This movie looks it's almost like what was that zombie movie that came out with the super funny one, Zombieland.
Zombieland, yeah.
It's like Zombieland-esque, just goofy zombie movie.
Seems a little bit more indie, like in its approach. Like it seems like less mainstream type humor, but I think kind of art type of shit. It seems like from the looks of it. Fucking amazing cast, definitely.
Adam Driver, Billy Murray.
Billy Murray.
Yeah, call him Billy.
Very close, obviously.
Tilda Swinton.
Sword-wielding Tilda Swinton. Sword-wielding coroner or something, or mortician. Tilda Swinton. I think she's being very, very Irish in this one. Yeah, Tom Waits. Fucking... who else is in this? Steve Buscemi, Chloe Sevigny, Danny Glover, Iggy Pop as playing a fucking zombie. Perfect casting.
Selena Gomez,
that's right. RZA. Written and directed by Jim Jarmusch. A man that I looked at his resume, and I've seen the man before. He's often talked about in film circles and stuff like that. I myself don't claim to be that well versed, in spite of the fact that obviously we both host a podcast. I think we're still, generally speaking, more towards the casual spectrum as opposed to the hardcore film goers, but I think he's a certain type of indie filmmaker. I think that
he's got some pretty awesome hair. I know that
he does have some awesome hair, but I was gonna say, I was looking at his resume, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen one of his films. Despite having heard of him and seen him talked about, I was just like, I don't think I've seen anything. I could be wrong, but nothing. When I looked at that very briefly, nothing really came to mind. But I will say I intend to see this because it looks fucking awesome, and maybe that'll turn me on to the rest of his resume. Looks like a ton of fun. The Dead Don't Die in theaters June 14th. So there you go.
There we go.
Well, you want to talk about Dumbo?
Yeah, let's talk about Dumbo.
Well, don't sound too excited. Dumbo was written by Aaron Kruger, directed by the one, the only, Tim Burton. Stars Colin Farrell, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Eva Green, and Alan Arkin. And it's about a family at a failing traveling circus that encounters a baby elephant with extremely large ears who is capable of flying. Wow. I don't think I needed to explain the premise of Dumbo to anyone, but I just did. So now you know.
You just did. Now I know.
I just did. Domestic box office. Box office breakdown. Very excited. I'm matching your energy level. That's what's happening. It debuted at number one, $45 million opening weekend take. I think it's kind of middling for the Disney live action adaptations. I think it's short of a couple and, higher than some others. So, it's fine. It's fine for what it is. $116 million worldwide box office. I think these numbers were current through the weekend. So I think we're recording a couple days after I put them in there. So they've probably ticked up, a few mil, respectively. But that's where we're at with Dumbo. So I know you've been wanting to talk about Dumbo for many days now. I think you saw it a handful of days ago. It's probably actually coming close to a week now for you.
Yeah, I saw it on Thursday.
Since you've seen it. Yeah, right. Yeah. And I've seen it more recently. I saw it yesterday. So I know, like you said, you've been waiting many days to get this off your chest. So, I mean, just let it loose. I mean, tell me about Dumbo. Tell me how you felt about Dumbo. Don't hold back.
Kind of don't have a whole lot to say about Dumbo.
What?
I don't know if it's the result in the. I went on a first date when I went to go see Dumbo.
It's very exciting.
So maybe, went really
little butterflies and the stomach and all that.
Yeah, so it was really cool. But I don't know if it was because I was distracted from watching the movie. I don't know if the movie's just kind of forgettable. I don't know. It didn't really do anything for me. The music was nice. There was a song in there I really liked, but I don't remember anything about the song. I think it was the song. I think it was the song the little girl was singing to Dumbo.
Okay, yeah, maybe that was
vaguely.
I know there was a couple songs in here which I assume were lifted from the cartoon, from the animated film. If I think you said something won for song, right, at the Academy Awards or something like that.
Something like that.
So I'm guessing that was in the movie. I can say I know the premise of Dumbo and I've probably seen the movie. But if I have, it's probably been 20 years since I've seen it.
Long time.
So I can't claim to be that familiar with the original film. It would have been nice to watch it beforehand, but I wasn't putting that much effort into it. Let's be honest. But I think you're on the same boat where I think we're both kind of walking in this relatively fresh, without kind of any preconceived notions about like Dumbo should be this or should be that or whatever. Like we were kind of ready to see what fucking Tim Burton had waiting in the wings for us with old Dumbo.
And it was colorful. It was a colorful movie. Yeah. It was an interesting color palette. It was very bright. But I kind of feel like it was. I mean, it seemed very just
nothing.
Tame. Yeah, like it just seemed. I don't know. I didn't have a whole lot of like. I watched the trailer, and I got good emotional beats in the trailer. I didn't get any emotional beats in this movie at all. Did you?
The trailer is definitely better than this movie. That's for sure.
Okay, all right, then I'm not alone.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice looking production, pretty good cast, less good acting, I would argue. Respective to and respect of the pretty good cast. But I almost don't want to blame the cast because I know they're good, and it seemed like all of them inhabited just these lifeless characters with nothing to offer, with nothing. Like there was, I don't know. I mean, it really just was a nothing film for me.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing, I think. I wasn't like walking in with high expectations.
But the trailer set the bar kind of like a...
Yeah, I think the trailer, I think you walked in thinking like, oh, fucking little baby Dumbo is going to be the cutest thing ever, and it's going to be a really sweet story, and like little baby Dumbo is pretty cute, and there's definitely some cute moments in it and some flashy moments that are fun, and flying around is fun, but like it's just wrapped with nothing around that. It's like, I know that the original animated film was an hour long, and this is, I think, just under 2 hours, so maybe it's because they pulled on book material and stuff like that. Right. But I know they changed the storyline pretty frequently because I know I said I wasn't familiar with it. But I walked in without any preconceived notions. But then I went back and looked up a plot summary of the original animated film, just as like, I don't really remember any of this. Like I said, it's been a long time. but I don't remember any of this. And the reason I didn't remember any of it is because most of this was not in the animated film. I mean, the broad strokes are kind of the same. You know, the feather and the circus aspect and flying around. But like the original animated film is like he just talks to a bunch of talking animals,
right?
And like in this one, none of the animals talk. It's a lot. It's a very human family that we're following that are intended to be our anchor points. With I think they're intended to be the anchors for emotionality, but doesn't work. Right. It's I honestly I'm going to point to one thing as I'm going to blame one person I think for this, and it's not Tim Burton, because I think Tim Burton did what he could to save this film. I think Tim Burton, in my honest opinion, has mostly been a hack for the past decade or so, if not longer.
Right.
I don't know the last Tim Burton film that I've actually legitimately enjoyed. I know he's put out the likes of the Alice in Wonderlands and Dark Shadows and just crap. There might have been something. I know there was an Amy Adams one that was less Burton-y. I think that was supposed to be pretty good. I didn't see that, to be fair, so that might have broken the streak or whatever. But, when I think of recent Burton, I think of that, and I'm like, oh, God, please no. Please no. Although Alice in Wonderland, first one made over $1 billion. How about that?
Gee whiz.
Second one, did not. It did not. This was written by Aaron Kruger. I said his name already in introducing the film. I'm going to introduce you to this man's resume because holy shit, why the fuck is this man getting jobs in Hollywood? He's best known. This is the introduction on Wikipedia. He is best known for writing 3 of the 5 installments in the Transformers film series.
Oh no!
Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, and Age of Extinction. He wrote 2 through 4.
Which are the worst?
5 might have been worse than that, but I can guarantee you that fucking Age of Extinction was the worst that I saw from that franchise. I'm pretty sure Revenge of the Fallen was the worst that you saw from that franchise, given that you only saw 2, fortunately for you. He also wrote, he co-wrote Ghost in the Shell, the live-action ScarJo one.
That was really bad. That one was
and it's
bad.
just like, what in the hell is, like... And he's the only credited writer on this movie, and it's just like, I know those Transformers films are poorly written pieces of shit that are they're also incoherent for other reasons. But I really think you can point the finger at someone here because
there's a track record.
I don't know where he's getting the source, the story material from. But I would say if it's coming from his own head, it is not a head to be trusted,
right?
Because everything is just so flat here. I think in terms of the writing, in terms of like the intended emotional beats, it's just fucking nothing, man. Like these characters don't feel like people. The kids don't feel like people. Nothing in this feels human. It's for something that is purportedly about a very human family.
Right.
No one in here feels like a real person. Mm-hmm. They're all either cartoonish villains or cartoony characters or, just very one note, like, I like science. That's my defining trait. I'm like, oh.
And that's kind of how it's announced. I think that might be a line of dialogue if I remember right. Something along
like it's almost offensive in some ways. Of like that's your attempted characterization is like I have one arm. That's my characterization for this movie, and I'm like, oh boy. Eva Green's characterization is that she's French. So everyone has like some sort of thing, and then that's it. And then they do absolutely nothing with any of that. It's really quite bizarre, honestly. But it's like almost like the pieces I think are on the board. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it in spoilers. I don't know how much we'll have to say on it. I don't think you'll have much to say on it. It seems to be, but it's like they had certain things in place that almost could have made for interesting things, and then it just leaves it on the board and does nothing with it. And it's just, it's got crowd-pleasing moments, and like I said, I think Burton does what he can to salvage much of any of this.
It's a flashy.
I think the only saving graces of this movie are the moments of flashiness of the sequences, and I think there is enough in there. I think that you could be entertained by this movie, but I think you have to walk in really just expecting that and nothing else. Don't expect to connect with any of these so-called people. Don't expect to really find any sort of emotional heart to any of this, because it's not there. There's nothing to be found here. It feels like a perfunctory piece of film, one that it either needed some rewrites, or it needed some more polish. It needed something. It needed a little extra time in the cooker. Like, it's not even that it feels safe. Like, it doesn't even feel like a safe, like, PG kind of movie. It just feels like
very flat, man.
It's just a flat movie. Like that. Like, you could have made this movie and have interesting character. Like, you could have had the exact same setup for this movie. It doesn't even have to be fucking talking animals and stuff like that.
I think you're absolutely right, though, about I will throw my input in. I've been trying to let it stew. I'm trying to let it.
Have I inspired something for you?
Yeah, there's the water is starting to boil a little bit. When you have a trailer, right, that has minimal dialogue and strictly the animation portions of the things and stuff, the actions of the characters, and you go to see the movie and the characters suck and there's nothing going on. It's not that there's not anything going on, but it's just one note and it's flat. I think you can tell that Burton's material that he filmed and the way it was orchestrated was good, but the content of the story and the writing was abysmal.
There's just no reason to be interested in anything that's happening on the screen.
No,
it's just like just one thing after another, and it's just like, okay, this is like, I was very tempted to pull out my phone on several times, and if I had my watch, I guarantee I don't have a watch, but if I had a watch, I would be looking at it very frequently. It doesn't keep you engaged. There's no real sense of momentum to anything, and I think that's because there's no point at where it invites you to be invested. It sets up, I think, framework for ways that it could draw interesting, like, character parallels and, make you really interested in fucking Dumbo, if nothing else. But I think Dumbo is the only character in this that you can look at by the virtue of it just being a cute elephant that can fly around in circles. Like, hey, I like Dumbo or whatever, but like everything else. And it's really fucking slow to begin with as well. I think that's a big thing. It's like it just is just so fucking boring for like at least 20 minutes until it gets any sort of anything. And then it quickly just reverts back to nothing for long stretches of time. And I don't know, it just kind of ends in like a weird fucking manner. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I don't know, man. Like I kind of got what it was going for, but it was so half-assed, I think, in terms of the writing effort, that it's like a little bit of something else could have made it pretty solid, a pretty good, movie for adults, families alike. But it's just not there. It's, what we were presented with. This ain't it, Chief.
Did not work. It was not well executed.
And I said I kind of touched on it briefly, but I didn't think many of these actors were very good in this. Colin Farrell, not sure what the accent was there. Pretty bad. Michael Keaton fucking turned it up to 11 in a way. I guess I respect that, but again, it was too much. Danny DeVito was fucking legitimately great.
Danny DeVito was the one exception, I think, to the rule.
I think Danny DeVito fucking owned it. I thought he was great. Eva Green was just nothing in this. Not her fault, I don't think. Just nothing to work with. Alan Arkin was hilariously bad in this.
Who's that one?
Again, he was the banker that was in a couple scenes in it, but he was bad. The kids were fucking horrible. Oh man, they were bad. They were not Charles Wallace bad, but it seems like I probably take pleasure in just saying that kid actors are bad. Like, man, they were so bad. They were like, they were really, really bad. Sure. They were. I didn't say this. I'm quoting someone I saw on Reddit said that the girl acted like she was lobotomized the whole movie, and I was just like, you know what? You're not wrong. You are not wrong. And I think that about sums it up.
I like science. The scientific process dictates that I should do this.
So, it was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
It was.
What are you saying, girl? What are you saying? What?
I don't know if that was a Burton thing. I will say it's interesting that Tandy Newton managed to clone herself into a little mini-me. genetics are interesting. I will say that genetics are interesting.
Is it Tandy Newton's daughter?
Yeah, she looks just like her. It's fucking ridiculous.
I don't know. I was quite distracted. Not distracted. I was quite I wasn't distracted. I was just uninvested. I don't remember
both.
The
You said you're on a date. I think that's fair. Yeah, the banker was barely in it. He was nothing. Anyway, that's it for non-spoilers. You want to do a recommendation?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say wait for Netflix on this one.
We agree.
I don't think it's egregiously bad or anything like that. It's flat. It's just a boring film. I think you could probably watch the Dumbo scenes stitched together on YouTube and have a better experience, or watch probably the original animated film. I haven't seen it recently, but I guarantee it's better than this. And I think it's supposed to come to Disney Plus exclusively, so I guess wait for Disney Plus is probably the more appropriate label to put on it. But it's nothing. Don't waste your time with this in theaters. I have a hard time seeing myself owning it unless I can get it for very, very cheap. I would say
comes in a box set.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's my least favorite of any of the Disney live action stuff they've done recently. If I had to think, I mean, Jungle Book was pretty solid. I thought Cinderella probably the best.
Fucking Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast I liked pretty well. So yeah, this one feels like a misfire though. I would say.
I hope to God, I pray every night. I pray after seeing Dumbo that this sort of treatment isn't given to the Lion King.
Okay. Well, I think we know it's going to be given to Aladdin. I think we can expect that much. Based on the marketing material so far.
Aladdin, you're fucked. We're not praying for you, but we are praying for the Lion King.
We hope beyond hope that Lion King is the one saving grace for Disney live action
this year.
This year, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So anyway, you agree? Disney Plus. Wait for streaming.
Stream it. Yeah, that's like
very good. All right, we'll do spoilers. Full spoilers for Dumbo. What is there to say really here, other than I can probably just kind of expand on my thoughts a little bit. I guess what really bothers me about this is that they do nothing with those character traits, and like they're just so nothing that it contributes nothing. Like Holt, Colin Farrell's character, has one arm. Like, that's and obviously he's kind of ostracized in some ways for that. The one-armed cowboy. He gets weird looks and weird glances here and there. And like, who else gets weird glances in this movie for having oversized ears? Obvious fucking parallel, never addressed ever in this film.
Right.
Let's think about this. The daughter, little Tandy Newton, whatever her name is, her mom dies while Colin Farrell's away fighting the war. Well, that's an obvious fucking parallel with Dumbo literally losing his mom. Like, that's the crux of the whole fucking movie. And they do absolutely nothing
do they even talk
within
really
the story
about the
beats
mom?
of this movie. No. And it's like, why are you even setting that up as a storyline if you do absolutely nothing? Like, they're just like, tragic backstory. And I'm like, maybe that's why she's so aloof? But that's not really explained.
It's not explained like, hey, Dumbo, I know what you're going through. I lost my mom. Nothing even like remotely.
It's literally it writes itself. It's like he came up with the ideas and then forgot why he did it in the first place, and he's just like, science. She likes I love science. It's like, what the fuck? Literally, her whole character was just like, it's the scientific method. I'm like, no, it's not. He fucking sneezed when he had a feather in his nose. Like, what are you talking about? Like it's so patently stupid. It's really quite incredible. It's like I said, like they made that her defining trait. I'm like, that's fine. You could do something with that, I suppose, but like not that. Not that. Like that was just like, oh man, it was. I don't even know what to say about it. I really don't know what to say other than, what the fuck was that?
It's not good.
Like I said, the things were there, and like I think the only thing that even maybe came close was the whole Danny DeVito's character selling the or going to partner with Michael Keaton, and then obviously kind of getting spurned by that, and then the way that his troop kind of gets mistreated and he gets fired, and then he kind of decides, all right, I got to fight for my guys. Like, that's like the only thing I think closest to like the most obvious story beats that you can make. But I don't care about any of those guys. There's like they're nothing for me there too. It's just like, all right, that was like the bare minimum you could have done there. So I guess well done for that. But I don't know. I mean, I guess Dumbo looked pretty cute when he was bobbing his little head with the bubbles and shit. It was pretty fun. I like that.
I did like seeing Colin or Holt or whatever his name is dressed up as a clown.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah. He makes a good clown.
It was pretty all right. It's pretty all right. I liked the whole fucking climax of this movie is Dumbo going to the tower and then just fucking with a bunch of levers, and everyone was just staring at him dumbfounded, like, oh, oh. And then Michael Keaton climbs those stairs in record fucking time. Let me tell you that, boy. Man, he's like, sir, the elevator's not working. He's like, well, we got stairs, right? And then it pans up, and it's like this obvious shot of like, oh, there's a fucking 100 floors on that fucking tower. Michael Keaton is up there in 10 seconds flat.
Just fucking hustling.
And he's not even, he didn't break a sweat. He was up there and feeling good. And he's just like, all right, we got to fucking fix this shit. Everything's on fire. But he really, he went full ham in that particular sequence. And I almost respected it. Like I said, he was the only one I think in the room that knew what he was in. He was just like, wow, this is a fucking piece of shit. I'm fucking going for it, man. Very obviously there for the paycheck. Michael Keaton, who has in recent years turned in excellent performances, even in roles, that you maybe wouldn't expect him to, like the fucking Vulture, Spider-Man movie. He was fucking great in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
he was.
He was menacing and fucking cool, and and still felt like an actual human being. Here, he was just like, what is this fucking movie? Like that.
I'm gonna send you a picture real quick.
All right,
you can edit this out.
Is it? Oh man. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
It's just kind of stupid. It might be just kind of stupid.
Is it Dumbo related? I assume it's Dumbo related.
Yeah, it is related to Dumbo. I want you to look at this man's face, and that was my face the entire time watching the movie. Look at the man right there, just with the hat on. Look at this.
The 1,000-yard stare.
Everybody's smiling. Everybody's doing something. This fucking guy's just dead-eyed.
His eyes are glazed over. He's like, I don't give a fuck about it.
Goddamn mannequin. He looks like a mannequin. Oh man.
It's staying in. It's staying in. I'll make that image available for listeners so they know what's going on. Also, the kid, the other kid, the son, the brother. Why was he in the movie? What did he fucking do?
I'm not quite sure what he did.
He fucking raised some flags. That was his contribution to the movie. He didn't even like science. He just liked fucking flags.
Oh, man.
It's like script writing 101. It's like, hey, take a second look at this and being like, oh, yeah, that character doesn't need to be there, does he? Huh. I don't know. I think, I don't want to say buried within this movie is something better, because I think as filmed, I think it was probably the best version that we could have gotten. But it really needed some polish. It really needed some help at the scripting stage, I think. I don't know.
I thought Dumbo looked pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, like I said, Dumbo's cute. Maybe we haven't given enough credit to the CG elephant that Dumbo is. He's cute. Like I said, the flight sequences I think are pretty good. The circus sequences are usually pretty fun.
It's pretty. It's just a pretty film. It's a pretty
Burton kind of color palette and style, I think, translates pretty well for this. I think that's cool. I like that. But it's just, yeah. I don't pin this on Burton really. I mean, he just had nothing to work with. He really had nothing to work with, and I don't know that any director could have done anything to save this. But I can say that Burton did not do it. He did not pull off the impossible. But can't really hold it against him, I suppose. But I think that is all I have to say on Dumbo.
Guy's face.
I'd really have to rack my brain to think about other things to say on Dumbo, and to be honest, I'm not inclined to do so. So fuck it.
That's it.
Dumbo.
That's Dumbo.
Dumbo. Wait for Disney Plus. That's what you got to do. Well, it's been a bit of a shorter turnaround since we recorded our last regular episodes, as compared to the one before that. But you've probably done. Maybe have you watched anything? Played any games? Anything? Read anything? Audiobooks? Anything of the sort? You wanna shout out?
American Gods.
The Stars show, the season 2.
The show. Yep.
So are you caught up to where it is now?
Almost.
Okay. Is that 4 episodes in? 5 episodes? Something like that?
Yeah, 4 or 5. Still interested. It's not as good as season 1.
Okay.
There's definitely it's not Game of Thrones in its consistency, but not many things are either. Plus, this one had a lot of production issues, I think, this season, so it's acceptable. Like I said, I'm still interested. I think the characters are still interesting. The premise is interesting, so I'm invested, and I enjoy it well enough, but I do recognize its faults. So, aside from that... Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, well.
Game of Thrones and American Gods and...
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones
Dumbo.
is the big one, obviously, and Dumbo. And, you've had some... You've been spending your time in other ways, from what I understand, but that's quite all right.
I am going to, next time I hang out with my friend, I am going to, I'm going to show her Evil Dead. The remake.
The remake, okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna kind of blow her mind a little bit. I think she'll have trouble watching it, and I'll laugh because we watched something. What did we watch? It was something gory. I can't remember.
Well, I can't remember either.
When it comes to me, I'll let you know.
All right, sounds good. Well, in the interim, speaking of gory things, I played a little bit of the Mortal Kombat 11 online beta.
Yeah, okay, that's gory.
So it's just pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pulled off a few fatalities here and there. I didn't play online because I'm not a big fan of fighting games online, but I played offline, and I think the game itself comes out in a few weeks' time. Have it pre-ordered. Very exciting. Yeah, it's fun. I fucking love Mortal Kombat, so I'm in for it. Obviously. Mostly want to talk about things that I've been watching. I have been continuing my watch of Arrested Development. I want to say. Through episode 12 of season 5 of 16, so I'm pretty close to the end. I'm into they split it into part 1 and part 2 with how they released it on Netflix. So I'm into the new stuff that just came out a few weeks ago, and I would say it's fun. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing amazing. Still, again, certainly not the high point for the show, but it's entertaining enough. I'm willing to grind it out for the rest of this season 5 and see where it ends up. But I would say if you have no reverence for the show in general, don't waste your time.
It's just more of the same.
Yeah, ish. Yeah, I mean, it has moments. It has its moments. But it's just it's just okay. I think it's just okay. Like I said, I love the early seasons of Arrested Development, so I kind of feel like I owe it to keep on watching. And I've seen shows get much worse than this, for stretches of time. We talked about Arrow. That's probably a good example of shows that have been good at times, really good at times, perhaps, and really fucking bad at other times. And I wouldn't say Arrested Development has ever neared those depths that certain shows reach. I want to shout out something that I watched, a movie that I watched, because it was fucking amazing. It was fucking excellent.
Wow.
I talked about it briefly, actually, on the news section for Us, when we did Us. It's a movie called Short Term 12. It was written and directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, I believe is the man's name. We talked about him because he's going to be directing Shang-Chi. The Shang-Chi movie from Marvel Studios.
Okay, yeah.
And this is on Amazon Prime. It was free with Prime, if you have a Prime account or whatever. So I watched it. It's pretty short. It's just over an hour and a half. and I had heard really good things about it from Rotten Tomatoes and just kind of some buzz online when he had been announced as the director for Shang-Chi. People were like, "Oh, this movie is really fucking great," and they were not underselling it. Anyone that wants to naysay Brie Larson after Captain Marvel, go watch this, go watch Room, and go fuck yourself, I think is probably the bottom line. She is incredibly talented. She's fucking amazing. I thought she was great in Captain Marvel personally, but you need to look no further than I think Short Term 12 for a powerhouse performance. And I would say as a side note, if you do happen to look this up on Amazon, ignore the poster. It's got Rami Malek in it. As well, but in more of a pretty small role. But clearly, in the wake of his Bohemian Rhapsody Academy win, they've altered the poster so it has Academy Award winner Brie Larson, Academy Award winner Rami Malek, and it looks like a bad rom-com. But it's not that at all. She's like a counselor at like a group home for quote unquote underprivileged children. Kind of taking care of them when they're not, they're kind of outside the foster family system, and it goes to some real emotional depths. So watching that and then watching Dumbo a few days later, it's just kind of like, wow, these are really two opposites in terms of how much emotion you can pack into a fucking hour and a half movie compared to the lack of emotion that you can put into a 2-hour movie. It's really quite striking. But the performances across the board are great. I mean, Rami Malek is good, but again, not in it very much. I don't know. There is a male lead in it, and I don't know the actor's name. I'm not sure if I've seen him in anything, but he was really good too. But Brie Larson fucking sold the shit out of it. Oh, and Caitlin Dever. She's one of the kids in it. She was an amazing character on Justified, one of my favorite shows, and she was great in it as well. It's a great fucking movie. So I won't say any more about it other than to say, Andrew, you definitely should watch it. I know I don't listen to your recommendations very often. I think you're better at listening to my recommendations.
To yours, bitch.
Right. So, well, I was making that point. So I was saying you don't owe it to me. I wouldn't say that, obviously, but I do
owe
think,
it to myself. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. Well, it's your words, not mine. But Short Term 12, go watch it, please, for your own sake, go watch it. Other than that, that's about it. Braves got their first win. It was a pretty dour opening series against the Phillies. Got swept. Very, very sad. Very sad. But baseball. So, I think that's it. I think we can wrap this episode up. So thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. Support us on Patreon if you're so inclined. Again, Game of Thrones bonus episodes. Currently, seasons 3 and 4 are only available on Patreon as of the release of this episode. Of course, depending on when you're listening to this, that could change. But if you're interested in Patreon, $2 a month will get you access to all of our bonus episodes, all future bonus episodes, early access to all of our regular episodes, and it's pretty easy. Just head over to our website, www.watchreviewrepeat.com. Premium tab on the top left, and then click the Become a Patron button, and it'll redirect you to Patreon, and I think you can figure it out from there. I have faith in you. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I will say you can follow us at WRRPod. You can like us on Facebook at Watch Review Repeat. And I just remembered something now that I'm thinking about the social medias. I didn't talk about it up at the top, but yesterday was April Fool's Day. And we did have a bit of a joke. A bit of a joke we did on our social medias. It was a pretty low rent effort, I think, compared to last year. No Rickards or anything like that. But we hope some people got a kick out of us, pretending that we'd seen Game of Thrones. Very, very sad that we haven't actually seen the Game of Thrones. But anyway,
I also pulled an April Fool's joke on you.
Oh, did you?
You didn't even know it.
I guess it was so good I didn't even realize what it was.
I told you we were going to record 2 episodes last night. I got April Fools.
Yes, it was very good. It was very good. Very good. Very good. You got me. He bloody got me. Questions, comments, or suggestions, please send those to our Gmail account, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. Intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Next episode, should be coming out next week sometime. We're going to be talking about Shazam! Which I've seen. Andrew has not. It is not out yet, but he will see it, and I will see it again, most likely, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on the next episode. It'll be fun.
See you there.
DC,
See you on the
DC's Captain Marvel, getting in on the action. So that'll be cool. It'll be cool. So we look forward to that. We hope you look forward to that anyway. And we will see you there, or we will see you on another time. As Andrew started to say, I don't know if you quite finised.
I didn't finish it. That's what I was going for, though.
That's what he was going for. I understood. So, well, I guess that's that. What do you have to say?
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Laters on the Menche.